Okay, so for figure P3-5, we have a couple of choices to make as we generate this geometry. We can draw the bottom shape and extrude up and then remove material down, or we could go halfway and then draw our L shapes and extrude up from there to the rest of the distance. So it just kind of depends on which way we see the geometry. So 30 millimeters and then splitting it 15 and 15. It's kind of a toss-up which way you want to go with that. I think I'm going to do the block and then cut the material back. Alright, so my 2015 Solidworks flashed a Visual Basic runtime error, and I'm not too worried about running a repair on it, but I'm not going to do that today. One of the big changes, 2015 looks pretty much like 2013 and 2014 did. 2016 went to a more visually neutral, and so the icons and some of our geometries, and apparently I didn't make a millimeter for 2016, so we'll go to the default and just switch it over to millimeters, grams, and seconds. Right, but still kind of the same things. I don't need sheet metal surfacing. Those all look pretty good. And maybe we'll turn off the direct editing as well. Alright, so just kind of looking to get that heads-up display. Since I customized this one and added a few more things, we'll get some of that back. And part of this is still for the YouTube videos, reducing the resolution on the screen to make sure that it works. Alright, so one quick look. We're 100 by 50 and 30 millimeters tall. So I'll go into the to the top plane, and let's make it at the center, since my center rectangle is active. And we'll go 50 by 100, and this gets extruded 30 millimeters. We have the shape. Alright, so doesn't really matter the order. Do a Control-8 to bring it in. I'm going to switch back over to my corner rectangle. And even though that goes coincident, doesn't quite make it midpoint. So let's see, if we come up here, notice that my right mouse button context menu went to added more tools, but did it as a flyout. Made a little bit of a change as we go through the mix, so maybe not that midpoint. Alright, so selecting the midpoint across the bottom, Control selecting the edge, making that the midpoint. We have a depth of 25. Make sure I'm in my dimension. 25, and then 30 from the edge. Alright. And then I'm going to cut all the way through. Alright, and then the sketch. Alright, and we haven't had much of a chance to do convert entities, so I'm going to select the two outside edges. Since this has the break in the center, I don't really want to trim that out, so let's just convert entities. Alright, and the thing to watch out, I selected the edge, and then when I hit convert entity, it brings those edges in as line geometry. So the thing to watch out for is that if you accidentally grab an endpoint, you can drag it even though it shows it is fully defined, and it is not necessary to pull those off and reposition them, but keep in mind that it is nice, it is functional to be able to move those entities, and as you apply additional sketch geometry or go through the mix, it may become fully defined, not movable, I guess would be the preferred way to say that, after you've put a little bit more into it. Alright, so We're going to set those two to equal so that I can give it a dimension. And no, it's not 180 degrees. So let's go Smart Dimension, and those are 40 off of the edges. Alright, so for my sketch I'm going to offset entities. And if I pick the two entities, alright, so I need to reverse the direction. We do have 10 millimeter all around, and I do want to cap the ends with lines. Alright, so a nice thing about the offset entities here is that I'm going to be able to pick those, and oh, I really needed the negative space. So, that being the case, realizing that I'm not building this up, let's go ahead and accept that, and I can fix this real quick just by closing off the gaps. So, rather than stopping and redrawing and trying to just make that interior shape, I'm just going to switch gears and make the adjustment because I have that contour and region now. It doesn't really need the interior space unless I think that something's going to happen with that through all cut. But that's going to give me my shape. So as you see these parts and as they develop, one of my favorite things to say is observe and react, that you're making decisions as you go, and react to them, and make good choices, make good parts.